Okay, it is 5:30. I will call the budget hearing to order and ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. They all move. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Man, it's been so long, I felt out of practice about where to look. Okay. I'll need a motion to approve the June 24th, 2024 budget board meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Okay. First up, public hearing for this good stuff.
Okay. So to close out this year, we have a projected $579,000 additional going into the fund equity. Total revenues projected to close out this year is $58,424,444, and our ending fund balance for last year was $13,549,900. That includes spendable and non-spendable amounts, so that's the total amount. So we have available to appropriate $71,974,344, and we are appropriating $57,844,743. There were some, with Joyce being gone and several other things, there were last few minute changes and CTE grants that I had to get balanced out, so that's, you'll see minute changes between the reports that we had last week and these ones, just to clarify that. We've also had a lot of additional last minute grants come through that were after the previous amendment, so there's changes along those lines. So the ESSER grants end September 30th of this year, so that'll be the last of those. They do carry over into next year's budget. That's general fund. Does anybody have any questions they might have? Our estimated fund equity at the end of the year is $14,129,601.
That's at the close of 25 or the close of 20?
Close of 23, 24.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one is food service. And we had a beginning fund equity of $853,922 and total new incoming revenue of $3,162,753. So we have available to appropriate to close out this year $4,016,675. We are appropriating $3,160,733. So I wrote this down. that makes our projected, this is 23, projected fund balance of $855,938 at the end of this year. So as the year progresses, those, because our fiscal year, it may end on June 30th, but July and August, we have bills that we have to pay that we accrue back to the previous year because that's where they belong. So either they're a late invoice that somebody sent us or something that was missed during the year, or it's closeout from the state because their fiscal year runs a little bit different than ours. So in order to match our fiscal year with theirs, we have some adjustments that way. So any of these numbers will fluctuate a little bit, not the budget itself, but the actual ending. So, long-range maintenance. We had a beginning fund equity of $829,238.40. We had new incoming revenue this year of $307,300, which is actually the fund modification from general fund to cover projects that are in our long-range maintenance planning. So that left us $1,136,538 to appropriate for this year, and we are projecting an expenditure of $639,876. So our ending fund balance for, as of June 30th, 24 will be approximately $496,662. And then long-range technology. We had a beginning fund equity of $1,523,958. We had new local revenue, which is the E-rate revenue of $53,324. And then the transfer from general fund of $150,000. So it gives us a total new incoming revenue of $203,324. I'm looking at the wrong code. Sorry. I'm sorry, I grabbed the wrong one. Let's take that. I'm sorry. We have a beginning fund balance of $214,424. Sorry about that. I gave you the beginning balance of a different fund. So anyways, we have available to appropriate $417,748, and our planned expenditures for this year are only coming out to $113,888. The reason why this happened is we have money set aside in there for Chromebooks, and we ended up not having to expend it, so it's carried over because we were able to write the Chromebooks into some of the federal grants that we needed for this year. So it is sitting there for future use. And we'll continue to build on that so that because we are one-to-one, it's quite expensive and we have to keep that pot built up to replace those Chromebooks in case we don't have the availability of the federal funds or state funds to do it with. The 2020 bond project was the first series of the bond. This is the one with $1,523,958 fund equity at the end of last year. So we had new incoming local revenue of $69,099, and that is interest from the bank. So we had available to appropriate $1,593,057, and the total we are projecting to spend this year is $1,465,091. So that will leave us with a ending fund balance of $127,966. The energy bond is still hanging out for a little while longer. We had a ending fund balance of $25,386. New incoming local revenue, $1,131, which is also bank interest. And that gave us an available to appropriate $26,517. Of that, we spent $10,608, and that was the service contract with Train. So what's left in here, we are going to apply towards the bond for insulation or door replacements or something like that that would qualify to spend this completely done and be done with it. Series 2 bond, which is the second series of bonds that we sold. We had a beginning fund equity of $15,058,137. We had new incoming local revenue of $743,195, and that is interest. So we will appropriate $6,365,200 of that to be spent this year, which will leave us with an ending fund balance of $9,436,132. Student activities is the one that I did not have pulled together on Friday because we had a lot of last minute deposits and I wanted to get a closer picture of what was actually going to be. So we had an end of the year fund equity of $412,085. New incoming local revenue of $393,613. So that left us with $805,698 to appropriate, and we expect the final expenditures to come out at about $465,692, which would leave us with $340,000 in fund equity. So that's the story of 23-24. Any questions?
Nope, you can keep moving on, it looks like.
Okay. So 24-25 was built on a lot of speculation. The state's been very, very quiet about any updates or any movement or anything. They have not had their final get-together yet. So I went with the governor's new, I didn't write it down either. The governor's new per pupil foundation allowance, just because it's her administration and she has a lot of control and seems to, it's the way it came out last year, so I went with that one this year. I did budget on less students. We have gone down in student population, as pretty much all the school districts in Michigan have done.
Do you have any idea what the new per pupil, is it higher or about the same, or?
I think it is like 98 something, 98.69 or something like that. Dave, can you quick look it up? Is that what you're doing?
Yep.
And then,
It's like 200 and something more, $269 more or something.
241 pupil increase.
Was that the governor's?
Yeah, she included a 241 per pupil increase. So 98.49.
98.49.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that may change because there's a lot of negotiations going on with the year-round preschool and all of that stuff, and with the OPEB being paid off, the actuaries are saying it's paid in full and fully funded, so there's a portion of the retirement that the state is trying to figure out whether they're going to keep charging that to the school districts or whether they're going to grant that relief to the school districts. So there's a lot in play in this budget. So
Can you repeat that part?
So in the governor's proposal, she proposed year-round preschool, which is our GSRP program basically. In order to fund that, they are taking the percentage that the state put into the OPEB, which is the post-pension benefits, which are the health benefits and dental vision, like that people get after they retire.
Okay.
So they're taking the state's portion and they're using that portion to fund GSRP, and they're taking our portion that we pay for the OPEB. They're keeping us charged with it, but they're putting that money towards bringing the regular retirement portion of it, the pension portion of it, having it funded sooner. So they're
Why do I feel so good about this?
switching money around is what they're doing to fund stuff. It's just a proposal at this point in time.
Okay.
Mary, what did you say was considered fully funded?
That's what I was,
The OPEB, which is the
Okay.
post-pension
Okay.
benefits.
And that doesn't have anything to do, though, with the basic pensions?
No.
Level of pensions?
It does not.
Okay. And do you know what the percentage we're funded at in that area? I mean, I know it's, I guess it's probably the state's
Across the
problem.
state, it's,
Yeah.
for the pension portion of
Yeah.
it, I don't know how much more we have to do. I think it would be considered fully funded in 2030 or something like that.
Yeah.
So
Based
we're
on-
not far off from where we started, but
Yeah.
yet there's a long ways to go, and you never know with the economy what, things are gonna.
Was that based, that date of 2030, when we think that's going to be fully funded, was that based on calculations made after the GASB ruling that said, oh, you guys are, because you're not funded out to the end, you're underfunded?
Yeah,
Yeah. So that was when they made calculations to try to bring us up to where we should be
right.
there.
It was back in,
2015, 16, 2014?
yeah, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Okay, I think I got it now, thanks.
Okay. So,
I'm good.
okay. So anyways, 24-25 budget is pretty speculative at this moment, but we have to have it adopted by June 30th according to state law. So I did my best to try to get it on there. Like I said, we had $13,549,900 in fund equity as of the end of this year, or end of last year. So with our speculative amount going into the fund equity at the end of this year, we will have $14,129,601. So in total, we have available to appropriate for 24-25, $68,520, or $520,955. We have expenditures of $54,391,354. So that includes all of the increases in payroll for all of the bargaining units that are settled. It includes speculative amounts for the ones that are in negotiations currently. It includes all of the wages and benefit changes for all of the staff, actually. So the benefits are all updated to the new rates that went into effect July 1st, or will go into effect July 1st, to account for all of that. We have some grants that ended and grants that will continue, like the consolidated app. We have a portion of ESSER that's in there. We have some changes in at-risk because we had some people funded under ESSER. They're now moving to at-risk because I'm able to do that because they weren't funded prior to ESER ones. There were new hires for coaches. So there's a lot of changes in that, and there will be more.
Mary?
Yeah.
When you say 13 million, how much of that, or I'm sorry, 13 million carryover or fund
That's,
balance, how much of that is available to us? Just a
So-
rough number.
so the non-spendable, I think, is right around 2 million, if I remember right. I would have to look in the
Yeah,
audit
just-
booklet. I can,
No, that's it's not exact, isn't? I was just curious
yeah.
how much.
So we have some committed by the board. So the money that we've set aside each year to replace the turf on the turf field at the high school, that's considered committed. So that isn't counted when you calculate our percentage. You don't include the non-spendable because that's inventory, it's not liquid cash.
Yep.
So it's all of like assets, our buses and all of that good stuff that we hold, less the depreciation and stuff like that. So
Okay.
there's like 3 numbers you subtract out of that 13 million before you can calculate our percentage.
Okay.
Is there any questions on general fund? Any other things? So food service is next. So we expect the fund balance to be $855,938 at the end of this year. So we have available to appropriate $4,054,125, and we are appropriating $3,197,765. And again, this is food service, so it's all the food service employees, all the food and all the supplies that we purchase for the lunches and breakfasts and stuff like that. Most of this is federal income because it's a federally subsidized program. Long-range maintenance. So we have a speculative fund balance of $496,662. Other financing sources would be the transfer from general fund. That's just our standard amount. It may change, but that's normally what we do. So we have available to appropriate $803,962, and we are appropriating the whole amount. We just do the long-range maintenance and long-range technology like that because we assume that hopefully we'll get all those projects done, and sometimes we don't. So. So long-range technology, we have a projected fund balance of $303,860. So we have $599,264 to appropriate when we will appropriate the full amount, just like we do in long-range maintenance. The first series of the bond we have $127,966. We're assuming $500 in interest on it. Interest rates fluctuate, so they may go up or down. And then we'll appropriate the whole thing, which is $128,466. So the energy bond. We have a fund balance of $15,909 and assumed interest of $500. and we will appropriate the whole thing, $16,409, so Simon gets to decide what I can charge off to that instead of charging it to the bond. Series 2. I hear he's thinking about doors. So, for the Series 2, we have a fund balance, projected fund balance of $9,436,132, and projected local income of $350,000. That again is interest, so it's just speculative, and we will appropriate the whole thing. Although I know very well the whole thing will not be spent this next year, it's hard to judge what they will get done and what they won't get done, so we'll just appropriate the whole thing. And so then the last one for the year is the student activity fund. And we had projected a fund balance of $340,006 and new incoming local revenue of $100,000. This is just an estimate. It's just a, you never know how much the kids are going to raise or how much they're not going to raise or whatever. So it's just a projection. And then we appropriate the whole balance because, again, we don't know what they're going to do, what they have plans for in their fund. Any questions for 24, 25?
No. Anyone have any questions? Are we good after 2 meetings on that? Lots of good information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thanks, Mary. At this point, are there any citizen comments regarding the budget? Okay. Seeing no one coming forward, we can adjourn and move on to the next one. Okay. It is 5:56. I will call our regular meeting to order and ask everyone once again to rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I think everyone had adequate time when we first came in to review the consent agenda items. Does anyone need extra time? Okay. If not, we will continue on to approving the agenda. Our electronic copy did have action item date correct about the year. It says 2023 on this one, but our other one did say 2024. So other than that, we will need a motion to approve the June 24th, 2024 regular board meeting agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
Okay. All in favor, show of hands. Okay, so everyone, thank you. And up first, we have a presentation from some Alpena High School students.
All right, and we have a typo that I didn't get to change it in time for you to print it. This is UR squared, research, underwater research robotics. Our high school ROV team just returned from world competition.
It's got water. Fresh water from Tennessee.
Hi, I'm Lydia. I'm Sarah. I'm the CEO, and I'm the safety officer. We just competed at Kingsport, Tennessee. We just came back yesterday. Yeah. And we did well as we wanted to. We missed out on a little bit. We had some trouble. It was 110 in Tennessee, very hot. And the robot was sitting outside, and we ended up a lot of things because of the heat, we weren't expecting it. So So we didn't perform as well as we wanted to in the robotics section, but everything else we did perform very well on, the whole thing overall. So just a little bummed out about the fact that the robot didn't perform as we wanted it to based off the heat conditions. So, but, side note, float.
We have to create a vertical profiling float, which can go down to the bottom of the pool, back up, report data to us, which is the time, pressure sensor, and our team number, and then go back down to the bottom of the pool and come back up all on its own through a code. Our float completed both of its run up and down and communicated 2 out of 3 of the data points, but our pressure sensor stopped working, so we didn't get the full points.
Yeah, but that's just because it was just a silly mistake. Literally the piece of like the thing that hooks onto it, like the power connectors to it, just fell off from like traveling, and no one like caught on to the fact that it fell off. So that was pretty bummer, because we were like, we gotta fix that. So, but yeah, I mean, we did really well with our presentation. Did really well. We had one of the highest scores in out of the world for that, so out of our class. And then we won the best JSA award from the Oceaneering. It's the HSE. What's its name called? It's like Health in America. Something. It was really very prestigious award because you get it from, it's picked out of because every class you go there was 80 teams. And so every team has to submit a safety documentation and they review them, and you're against everybody there. So I was really happy that me and Sarah, we worked really hard on that. And so to get that award was very exciting because we're competing against colleges teams for that award. Like Purdue was there, so that's pretty exciting to say I beat Purdue on something. So I think I was wondering for like, we were talking about like, so we were excited about that. And then some of the teams that are like our biggest competitors, we beat them for that, the one the year before that and the year before that. So I was pretty excited to see that we won something. So yeah, and then we ranked 14th in the world, which it's not bad, but it's not where we wanted to be. We hope for a little bit higher, but it's okay. So come back next year. World is here in Okina, Michigan next year. So we'll have a little bit of an upper hand knowing the dive tank at NOAA. So it's gonna be a good year next year. The problem was with the robot was the computer system overheated while we were sitting out there. So you get 50 minutes to compete, and we only were operational for 6. And then we still held our own. We still had you had just above average score. So I still think that's pretty dang good for only having a 6-minute run out of 15 minutes. So I mean, it wasn't exactly what we wanted, but we still hold our head high from that score. So it was pretty exciting. Yeah, we hung out with a lot of different teams, so that was really cool. We got to do a lot of networking because everyone was at the same hotel this year. There's this big hotel that everyone stayed at, and that was really exciting because you just went down the hallway and there's Egypt and then there's Scotland and all this France, and we just hung out with everybody in like this big group. I think that was one of the cool parts this year, so that everyone was just right together all the time. We all went swimming together every night, and that was pretty fun. So,
How many of you went from the high school?
9 of us. Yeah, like we went one night, we literally went down there to go swimming next to the team, and there was Germany, there was France down there, there was a team from California, they had all their robots in the pool down there. Everyone's driving around, you guys got props everywhere sitting around, and I'll tell you what, that pool was full of zip ties the last day. You looked in there, just zip ties, and there's just like memory foam. People go just around the pool, just kind of scattered. You can tell the RV kids have been here.
Cool.
So you guys, when you just went down twice, you didn't do anything else underneath water?
With the flow.
Just the float?
Just
This
the
one
float,
we
so-
have different challenges we have to complete.
Okay.
Yeah, simulate real world issues.
Yeah, so like you do surgeon, grafting rates, do coral reef system, do like a coral reef system. We're speculating that next year when it's here, there's gonna be a shipwreck that we have to go into, and you have to go in there and you have to like identify certain things. And then you have to there's always like moving parts and pieces because you're driving the robot underwater. So, but I will say that the competition it's a smaller competition, so like 80 teams compared to like, if you compare it to FIRST, which has like so many different ones, but it's only the first place teams that get to go out of your regional. So in May, we won the regional, so we got to go. But it's like the first place of every regional, so it's competitions and it's like there's no wiggle room for competitions. Everyone that's there is the first place regional in their area. Because you get some that are not as strong as others, but then you get these crazy ones where like out of the first, there was this team that we also met that was from there's another team from California, and they're literally their mentor was like an engineer for MIT, everyone's like worked there for like as like their engineering program and stuff like that, and I was just like, it's very thin. I was like, how do I compete with you? And they're like talking over here, talking about all this stuff they're doing, and they're like, oh yeah, we already got all these scholarships from MIT and this stuff and that, and I'm just like, good for you. I'm just here in Alpena, Michigan. No, but it was a pretty cool opportunity. You get to do lots of networking, lots of different team talking. What else you gotta say?
They're greatly underplaying the difficulty of this competition, as Dave can attest. They're not, this competition requires in 15 minutes. They are summarizing what they've been immersed in for over a year. They started preparing for this competition July last year. That float has taken them 2 years to perfect. They've built 4 prototypes of that, each one building on and making it more complex and more. This robot is significantly, it seems like it's a simple device, but there's about $4,000 sitting there. And this robot can do photogrammetry as well. And if you're familiar with photogrammetry, this robot can scan an image, a shape underwater, and then reproduce it in a 3-dimensional shape. And they have to do that within 15 minutes, and that's just one task. There's roughly about an hour worth of tasks they have to do in 15 minutes.
That's why I was dying for 8 minutes is kind of a big deal, because
And it
you know,
it's
all
failed.
your other teams you get there, they're like they score on these outrageous numbers in the pool. And you know we can hit those numbers we did before, but then you just like doing the number and you know we can do it. And you're just sitting there and the robot's just sitting in the water, not operational, and you're just like, try it again, Gus, power it up again. And then it's just, you can literally feel like the hate radiation off the computer. And it's just like, can't kind of see.
What did other teams do to keep their
Yeah,
robots
heat.
cold or cooler?
It was everybody that was going through it. Then you had like these like world-class robots with like 10 grand of like stuff on them with fans, you know what I mean? Like all this stuff that, like you didn't necessarily know you were gonna get into this type of heat like that. Like they, you know what I mean? Like teams that were from there, that were in the like that area knew what they were getting into, and they placed higher. But then you've got, you know what I mean? That's from northern Michigan where it's like 70 degrees here. It's nice.
And there was one team that came from thousands of miles away, put it in the pool, and their unit started smoking as soon as it went in the water. Do you remember who that
It was
was?
the China team.
Yeah. And that was it. They were done. It burned out the unit. And so, but it,
Thankfully, we were not that.
There were several teams.
Yeah.
It was everywhere.
When the scores were published yesterday evening, and so we teased out the scores and looked at it. They scored in multiple areas as much as well as the #1 team. The only way they fell short was in the product demonstration. There are 8 areas where they're scored, and they performed in 3 areas better than the top team. It was just they got outbeat in the performance part of it with the tool. So when you're only operating, your ROE was only operating for 7 minutes. But in that 7 minutes, though, I think what they're underplaying, and I know Dave was watching as well, in those moments, that 7 minutes, you saw a year's worth of preparation taking place. The robot, when they first turned that robot on and they were setting it up, initially something went wrong, caused the computer, because there's there's a computer at the surface that they have developed that communicates and networks with the computer on this robot. And both of those communicate. When that top side computer goes down, then the bottom side goes down. And it takes several minutes for those both to reboot. We really don't know why that top side, but you could kind of tell where, as a mentor, you're not near the pool. You're not allowed near the pool. There's no adults near the pool.
I don't think any of this stuff is you're letting.
No, not anywhere. But so I was sitting across the pool watching from a different standpoint because it's nerve-wracking. You're watching these kids work for a whole year and that whole year's worth of work being settled within 15 minutes. And so as you're watching it and this robot, and you can see from the backside that one of the screens is not turning on. You can see them looking at each other and talking to each other. And in that moment, you know, when you're thinking, what are they going to do? And then you watch them rise up. They realize, they start pulling phones out, they start pulling other things out, they start collecting each other, and they say, this is not working, let's start doing this, let's start trying this, pull this up. And so they get the computer, but they got the robot back up within about 5 minutes.
Yeah, but we ended up losing 7 in total.
7 total minutes. They end up getting the robot restarted back up and start continuing, and additionally, they completed, you guys pulled 180 points,
We got 210.
210 points in that 7 minutes.
Yeah, so it was really good.
So if they would have had the
'Cause that's the
whole full
average.
time,
That was the average score, just above average score that everyone got in those 15 minutes. So if we would have had those full 15 minutes, we would have, because we did calculations and we would have had it, because we were 60 points off from third, from being right where we should have been.
and there were only 12 teams of the total teams that scored over 200 points in the pool with full time. And they did it in 6.5, 7.
And then we literally got up there on the deck, and I don't know if you know Lucas Thompson. He's the tech guy basically. And we get up there, and I go, "Hey, why isn't the monitor on?" And the whole back HDMI port was snapped in half. There's wires everywhere. And I'm like, "When did this even happen?" I was like, "It was fine yesterday when we used it. Like 12 hours ago, it was fine." I don't even know what happened because it just did nothing. It just was sitting in the hotel room and just got pushed over.
But they worked it out. They managed
I know,
to split
yeah.
the other screen they had so that one pilot
I
could,
know, I had
because usually
download
one, the
Canva.
computer operator's using one screen and then the pilot's using the other screen. He managed to quickly split the screen so that they could both use one pilot. The pilot could use half the screen to drive, and then the other one could use the other half to do the data collection that was required for the mission. So as a whole, it was very, it's disappointing. But on the other end, you're thinking, you know what, I'm super proud. That was a moment where you're like, it happens.
But not next year. Next year I'm coming from.
But they're also
We were
walked
gonna talk
away.
about it.
You guys also walked away with that award, which was very prestigious. We did not expect it.
No. Okay, they called the award, and me and Sarah both looked at each other, we're like, maybe, that's not gonna happen. We're both just like laughing at each other, we're just like, and then he starts going off about this team, he starts talking, and there's a couple of hints, and me and Sarah go, he's talking about us? And then another second, he's like, and they computed a 15-hour certification, and me and Sarah literally like both reached for each other, and we all just started the whole little row of us were just so excited, we knew it was us as soon as he said that. And then they're like, oh, come up on the stage, and then right afterwards, everyone that we meet was super excited for us as well. And I know the two of us have been getting text messages from a bunch of teams like asking about ready to get the OSHA certification. Like, so how do we do this?
So, I don't know if you're not familiar with oceaneering, but oceaneering is responsible. They have over 13,000 employees worldwide. They're responsible for, I think, over 60–70% of all space material products, and along with all of the exploration and underwater robotics stuff. They have they so believe in this program, they have 25 employees they bring every year to volunteer.
The one guy that we presented to, our presentation was one of the main engineers there.
And then you get to have a private meeting with the CEO as well.
Yeah, that's true. We got invited to meet the CEO of Ocean Engineering, which is really cool. So it was like their whole little team, like the secretary and the hooker came over, and they'd come out with us for a while. They were there for a long time. So they were excited to learn about our team and the robot. So we got a lot of compliments on our robot this year. There was a lot. Everybody, I think we got pulled both sides so many times about a robot. So it was really exciting to be acknowledged for our engineering and our hard work for that. So it was really exciting stuff. Any questions?
Off to next year. Any questions?
It's amazing. Are you both juniors? I know you're juniors there.
I'm a sophomore.
You're sophomore. Great.
So we're excited. It was pretty good. I mean, honestly, to walk away with that award
You're
is
senior.
Mhm.
it's only.
Yeah.
It's summer.
Senior now.
Senior now, yeah.
Right, and then, the thing is that the level of competition they compete against from teams around the world.
Like I was saying, like how it's so hard to compete against these teams whose mentors are like, you know what I mean? They work for Ocean.
And magnet schools. There was one magnet school there that pulled
Yeah.
from 8 school districts. Its practice is only technology and engineering, and they pull from 8 schools, all of the top students.
Yeah, I would say all 15, that ranks the top 15 are all private engineering schools. So that's our own little, we're public, being a high school team.
But the setbacks you had, you're gonna learn more from that than you would have had from a perfect run.
And so moving forward, that's only gonna make you 10 times stronger on your home field next year, so
Hope to fix
that's
next year.
awesome.
Prepare.
Congratulations.
In fact, extra.
Cool, very cool. Well, thank you for coming and sharing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can't wait to hear about it this time next year.
And you can all come.
And we
'cause
can all
it'll be
come?
right here. It is pretty exciting, you know, it was here, how many years ago, Bob?
2014.
10 years ago, so now it's coming back. International,
Cool. Hope they get the
Competition for
hotel
sure.
done.
yep. It should be.
Yeah, we should do there's a thing called the bonus mission, which is like, you work with teams from everywhere. You get stuck with 4 other teams, you have to complete a task that they give you. And you didn't know about it till like a couple days before. And we actually got stuck with the Saudi Arabia team, the Egypt team, and then this team from Texas. And what was really cool about it was that the Egypt team's robot, they couldn't, it was too bulky to do what was asked, so you had to like, you're like making a dam underwater basically, and you had to like push these panels up, but the robot was like too chunky and big to do it, and like it just kept hitting and smacking against things, so there was 3 minutes left, and I looked at their CEO and I said, go use our robot. And so they had to use our robot, and then literally Gus is speaking to him. I don't even think he spoke English, to be honest with you, because they didn't. The only one that spoke English on the team was the CEO. So I was telling him what to say, and he was telling him. And then they were telling him how to pilot, and this is in 3 minutes, and they get it with literally like 10 seconds to spare. They stick it on the wall, and then, because if you don't get it, you don't get 25 points, and it was kind of a big deal when separating us from top 10 was literally like 22 points. And so that's just kind of, you know what I mean, separating us from top of 60, from first place to 60 points. So it's kind of like, those 25 points are crucial. And so it was really cool to be like, you know what I mean, to be able to say that, like, that we taught an Egypt team how to drive a robot.
Thanks, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we are at our first opportunity for any citizens or delegations to address the board. Okay, seeing no one, we'll move on to the approval of the consent agenda items listed in your agenda. We would need a motion to approve the consent agenda items as presented.
I so moved.
Support.
All in favor? Show of hands, please. Thank you. Okay, old business. We will need a motion to adopt the preamble and resolution of the 2023-24 General Appropriations Final Budget Amendment Resolution as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. You ready for a roll call over there, Allison?
Are we ready?
Yep.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Lawson?
Aye.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
Member Snow?
Aye.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
And Member Meinhardt.
Aye. Okay, thank you. Next up, I'll give Leslie a second here. You okay?
I'm good.
Okay. Item B, motion to adopt the preamble and resolution of the 2024-2025 General Appropriations Budget Resolution as presented.
So moved.
Support. Okay, any further conversation? Hearing none, roll call when you're ready, please.
Okay. Member Lawson?
Aye.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
Member Snow?
Aye.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
And Member Meinhardt.
Aye. Okay, moving on to C, motion to adopt the 2023-24 80/20 cost share preamble and resolution as presented.
And that's actually the 24-25.
Oh, yep, yep. That's.
I move to accept the 24, 25, 80, 20% cost share preamble and
Support.
resolution.
Support.
Any further conversation? Okay, go ahead for roll call.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
Member Snow?
Aye.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Lawson?
Aye.
And Member Meinhardt.
Aye. Up next on the agenda are the bids for the flooring. Do we want to hear any more about this? Because this is what we had, looking for it in here. Do you want to speak on this at all, Simon? I know when at the workshop, do
Yeah, I received,
you mind stopping up the microphone just for those listening? Thanks. Just last time we spoke, I don't believe the bids had been opened yet, so.
yeah, we received 2 bids, one from Stanson's Flooring and one from Young's Carpet One. My motion was to accept the bid from from Stanson's, I mean, due to the fact that they bid it per plans and specs. Young's bid, after talking to him on the phone, he bid, I don't know what kind of carpet he bid, I don't know what kind of product. He didn't include any information in his bid packet as far as a voluntary alternate, so, and when I contacted him about he did submit a price after the bid opening per plans and specs, but in good faith, I don't feel we could accept that, so. And Stanson's price was right in line with my estimate of where we should be at, so.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any further questions for Simon? Okay, if not, we would need a motion to accept the flooring bid from Stanson Floor Covering in the amount of $59,985.46 for central office.
So moved. Support.
Okay, any further conversation? And while we're at a roll call, we'll just keep on
We'll
going,
keep it
please.
going.
Thank you.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
Member Snow?
Aye.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Lawson?
Aye.
And Member Meinhardt.
Aye. Okay. Up next on the agenda would be to consider the MHSAA membership resolution, one of our annual tasks, so that we can be a participant in the MHSAA sports for the high school and the junior high, competing in districts and regionals and all those important things for our student athletes. So we would need a motion to adopt the preamble and resolution for 2024-25 MHSAA membership as presented.
So moved.
Support. Any further conversation? All right. And we're ready for another roll call, please.
Okay. Member Snow?
Aye.
Member MacArthur?
Aye.
Member Fritz?
Aye.
Member Lawson?
Aye.
Member Hanson?
Aye.
And Member Meinhardt.
Aye. Okay. Next on the agenda, the annual renewal of School of Choice 105 and 105C that we discussed at our committee meeting. We would need a motion to approve Alpena Public Schools' continuing participation in Schools of Choice 105 and 105C for the 2024-2025 school year.
I would offer that motion.
Support.
Any conversation? Okay, hearing none. I think we can just do a all in favor show of hands on this one, please. Dr. Lawson, are you
I'm just.
voting or are you not?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. Just making
You are-
sure.
you're voting.
I want to make sure you vote. There was,
Yes, yes.
okay, perfect.
Okay, so
We are
that's
all
everyone.
good. That's
Okay.
everyone. Thank you.
That one snuck up on me.
Okay, up next, under new business, our human resources staff update.
Good evening. This month, we have 9 new hires for professional staff. Nicole Gregory, math teacher, Thunder Bay Junior High School. Allison Poley, social studies PBL teacher, Alpena High School. Adam Goebel, social studies teacher, Alpena High School. And Desiree Lacrone, kindergarten teacher, Ella White Elementary School. For support staff, we have Rachel James, food service director for Alpena Public Schools. Evan Stanberry, utility A, Alpena Public Schools. Dylan Archer, lead cook, Besser Elementary School. Heather Bali, cafe helper, district float, Alpena Public Schools. And Carol Noland, office assistant, Alpena Public Schools. For resignations, Tina Cameron, cafe helper, district float, Alpena Public Schools. Jessica Eller, instructional assistant, Thunder Bay Junior High School. Cynthia Kaiser Brusky, lead custodian, Sunset. Dwayne Shelley, welding paraprofessional, Alpena High School. Cheryl Williamson, instructional assistant, Alpena High School. Renee Fisher, math teacher, Thunder Bay Junior High School. Amanda Rosnowski, second grade teacher, Ella White Elementary School. Tanya Smigelski, kindergarten teacher, Lincoln Elementary School. And Karen Cordis, special education teacher for Ella White Elementary School. Retirements, we have Leslie Reynolds, administrative secretary to the superintendent and board of education, Alpena Public Schools, with 26 years of service. Thank you.
Thank you. It's not too late, Leslie. It's not too late.
Do we have to approve this?
Please.
Okay, I guess we give you a shot. If not, we'll need a motion to approve the hiring of the new professional staff after completion of proper certification, testing, and other HR requirements.
So moved. Support.
Okay. Anything further? If not, all in favor, show of hands, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Up next, under new business, we will be appointing, hopefully, a interim board secretary. We'll need a motion to appoint Susan Wooden as interim board secretary starting July 1st, 2024, due to the retirement of our current board secretary, Leslie Reynolds, on June 30th, 2024.
So moved.
Support.
We are thankful for all the roles that you have filled over the past. Yes, you have helped this district tremendously, so thank you so much. Okay, anything further? All in favor, show of hands, please.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
Yep.
Dr. Lawson, some gifts.
All right, here we go. For our gifts, Ron Lemke donated clothing, backpacks, and chairs valued at $50 to Lincoln Elementary School. Diane Bauer donated 13 copies of the book Glow Kids, valued at $260 for APS district use. Ruth and Dennis Rabo donated $30 to ACES for the McKinney-Vento homeless and at-risk youth. Larry Johns donated the coffee, valued at $84.79 to the AHS Kaput Group for the Senior Sunrise Breakfast. James and Marga Decker donated $200 to the AHS Athletics Tennis Program. Pepsi Bottling Company donated beverages valued at $400 for the AHS Senior Experience Day. The following donations were received for the Thunder Bay Junior High Career Day. HPC Credit Union donated breakfast items valued at $100. Bigby Coffee donated 1 pound of coffee grounds valued at $20. I'm kind of guessing that's ground coffee and not the grounds. Yes. Pepsi donated drinks for presenters and students. Several businesses provided donations for the Ella White School Teacher Appreciation Raffle. Courtyard Restaurant donated a $25 gift card. Cedar and Threads donated 2 $50 gift cards. Bay Athletic donated 1 free month of gym membership valued at $55. Downtown Scoops donated 5 $10 gift certificates. And Kip Miller's donated a hanging basket valued at $25. The Alpena High School CTE DECA organization received donations from
Ken Kruger in the amount of $200. Angela Lorenzi, $100. Chipeng Chinese and Thai Restaurant donated $600. Sanctuary Sweets, Cops and Donuts provided donuts at a reduced rate for the DECA fundraiser. Alpena Harborside LLC donated $500. Chris Ewing donated $40. Laura Smith, $100.31. Joan Huffine, $25. Judith Meyer, $100. Marga Decker, $100. Jamie Lee Snyder, $20. Gordon Snow, $100. Danielle Marek, $20. Christy Thomas, $25. Carrie Velasco, $50. And Dawn Clofu, $100. The Alpena High School Athletics Baseball Program received the following donations in memory of Donald Schultz. Julie Kowalski, $50. Jane Fortner, $50. Linda Bixler, $25. Donna Kaminsky, $25. Jerry Doyle, $25. Carol Pellerin, $50. James Kruger, $50. Joanne Lavoie, $25. Jennifer Worsbicki, $25. Marvin Robert, $50. Andrew Tarkington, $50. Kathleen Guerin, $25. Kenneth Dooley, $50. Catherine Hendricks, $75. Lori Anderson, $100. Daniel Hunter, $30. Penny Jones, $20. Mark Euchman, Phil Schultz, Gary Graham, Tim Hose, Tom Clearwood, and Craig Doobie donated $300. And finally, the Thunder Bay Junior High School Creative Writing class received the following donations to assist with student writing publications. Dairy Queen, $50. From Downtown Scoops, $50. Sunrise Veterinary, $200. And from Cliff and Schutz Chevrolet, $500. I would recommend and move to accept the gifts listed above with gratitude and thank the donors in writing for the generous gifts.
Support.
Well done.
Well done. Okay, all in favor of the motion on the floor, please? Thank
Okay.
you.
You know, Eric, one time I was at a auction sale, and the auctioneer, I see him in the side, he's spraying his throat with chloroseptic to get started at the day.
All right, up next we have some discussion items, the Raymond Employee Engagement Survey.
So Raymond Employee Engagement Survey, just keeping that on our agenda. Again, we talked about it at the workshop, that we've gathered our results and met with each of our building staff and gathered their feedback on what we can do to take action on those results. When the administrators come back August 1st for our principals retreat, we'll be formulating those suggestions into goals for each of the buildings and at the district level to respond to what our employees told us through those survey results. Moving into strategic planning, we had talked about at our workshop, how do we define success? So we received, Joyce at this time typically does annual closeout of the CTE program and provides a lot of information. So Ron Worth has stepped up in her stead and just provided some interesting information that kind of goes along with what we were talking about success isn't just or only a test score. So this is an update from CTE, and there's some technical terms in here. 665 student units, plus 48 students that attend from Alcona, Atlanta, and Hillman will have at least one work-based experience each year they are enrolled in CTE. So last year from January to April, 44 students did meaningful job shadowing in the related career. This year, 82 students did a job shadow in a related industry. Ron was instrumental, I know Ray was as well, in getting kids out to field trips and careers. So Ron scheduled 34 trips this year in which 734 students visited business and industry as well as colleges from January to May. So this year, 42 field trips, including 8 college visits, were scheduled and executed. Every instructor hosted multiple guest speakers in their classroom throughout the year, utilizing local expertise during specific training units. CTE hosted an all-day open house for 8th grade students, as well as student tours for elementary students to initiate career awareness at an early age. And then each year since 22, and I'm pretty sure prior to that as well, 22, 23, and 24, we've hosted the CTE Industry Expo. That provides another commitment to career awareness, where students could visit all CTE programs in action and talk about the careers with industry professionals. So 28 industries were represented, some of them coming as far away as Escanaba. So over 400 students, family members, and representatives were in attendance this year. We also do advisory committees. Some of you may serve on that. We have various advisory committees that come in, and the idea is we're connecting our staff and our programmers with people in the industry and hear from them what they need or see in their particular industry, what they need in employees, and what they see as those future needs as well. So that's just another great connection for our kids to connect out to the career world. That is two things in one. Just a CTE update on what took place this year, but also it does tie into, we got a lot of great things going on for our students that aren't measured by test scores or necessarily grades in a grade book. Just a great example of all that we do offer.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If nothing else, we're at the second opportunity for any citizens or delegations who would like to address the board. All right. Moving on to information and proposals, letters and communication. We did have one letter in our packet. APS Board of Education, thank you for your support of the Alpena Early College Program. It was a fantastic send-off for our cohort, and your participation is valued. So, did everyone get a copy of that in their packet? Great. Okay. Reports and information from the superintendent and staff.
So I'll use my Raymond Employment and Strategic Planning, and I don't want to steal the board's thunder, but I was going to say a few things about Leslie, even
Please
though she
do.
doesn't want it. So, I don't.
No, go for it.
Anyway,
yeah. We can both.
I've been incredibly blessed with two wonderful people supporting me. I did not think it would be possible to exceed Lori's bar that she set, but Lord help whoever follows Leslie trying to meet that. There's so much that you just know to keep me on track, and that is a skill that's come finally honed over years of taking on all the different roles you have in the district. So I am shaking a little bit. We do have someone in the works, but thank you for everything you've done, not only for me in the last couple of years here, but for the district throughout your 26 years. You absolutely have left your mark, positively so, in every department and position you've filled. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Anything else on your end?
Nope.
No? Okay. Information and questions from board members.
What he said.
What he said, yeah. Yeah. First, I know, Dr. Lawson, you weren't there, just a reminder for the next month, and I did not send out the email, but if board members could do that self-evaluation tool, that I will send out the link for prior to our next meeting, that would be great. I will make myself a note to send that note again to. And yes, to echo everything, Leslie, the board cannot, I don't know how we would have gotten through everything over the past few years. You're always calm and organized, and you've made all of our jobs much easier and enjoyable. So
Well, it's been my pleasure.
we will
I've
miss you.
enjoyed it.
We will miss you. So
And I guess I would say one more thing, and Susan can back me up on that. Leslie's not only come and done the job very well and learned it very quickly wherever she is, but she's created systems that are then moving on to that next person. So actually, the person coming in after you has it a little bit easier.
That's my hope.
Yeah, she builds these systems, has a way of looking at things and knowing how they're connected and how to track them. And I've been listening as she started with Susan recently, and there's been a lot of, oh, that's a really good idea, or that's pretty amazing, or those sorts of things.
Big shoes, great legacy, so enjoy your
Thank you.
retirement. Yep. And with that, I think unless there's anything further, we can move on to our next agenda item, which is to move into a closed session for superintendent evaluation. So we would need a motion to meet in closed session under Section 8A of the Open Meetings Act to consider the quarterly informal evaluation of the superintendent.
So moved.
Second.
Anything further before we do that? Okay. Roll call on this
Just
one,
a-
or just a
just a-
HA, just a
that
roll
just
call?
requires a
Yep.
sh- yeah,
Show of hands, all in favor, show of hands, please. See, it's exactly another reason that she can't leave, right? I'm still asking her, the HA, A, and H, which would you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we will be, are we taking any action, do we believe? Yep.
Yes, we will.
Afterward, yes.
Yeah.
So we will be taking action. For anyone, most likely we'll be taking some action. If anyone wants to stick around, but we'll be moving to a closed session. Are we asking everyone to step into the hallway or go outside, I believe, or are we leaving this time?
We're staying.
We're
Okay.
staying. We'll have to turn these,
Yep.
you can pause without it. moving
Let me start that process here.
it.
Thank you for coming, if you're not coming back.
Would the board want Mary in on any portion of this?
I don't think it could hurt.
I was gonna say,
Okay, we are back live.
We're back live. Are you
Yep.
ready? Is there no one else coming in? We good? Okay. I think she had left, right?
I was gonna say, I don't think there was anybody that
It
went up
was
there.
the Salvation Army, what's her name?
Oh, Frieza, Major Frieza? Yeah, I think
I think she
got it.
probably left, but I hate to leave her sitting out there. Okay. All good? Okay, no one's out there. We are ready. We're in open session. And Leslie, would you like to read the motion, please?
The motion will be to approve the superintendent's contract as presented in closed session effective July 1st, 2024.
I would offer that motion.
Support.
I'll put your name on it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, all in, any conversation? Okay, all in favor, show of hands, please.
Do we need to roll call on that one?
Sure, we could.
We can.
I
Might
just,
as well.
that's a
Yeah,
big
we
one.
can.
Might as well, yeah.
Yep, let me just find my spot here. Member MacArthur.
Aye.
Member Fritz.
Aye.
Member Lawson.
Aye.
Member Hanson.
Aye.
Member Snow.
Aye.
And Member Meinhardt.
Aye. Okay, thank you.
Wow, I'm not sure if Dave's a bad negotiator or if we are.
All right, Looking ahead to advanced planning only takes us through July because of our organizational meeting. We have our monthly workshop on July 8th and our organizational meeting on the 15th. Are you traveling for that one or
Not
not?
till after that.
After that,
My
okay.
trip is scheduled around.
Around the board meeting.
Perfect.
That's nice of you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, with that, we can adjourn.
All right, thank you, everyone.
You want
Thank you,
the-
Leslie.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
Can
you.
we sign that? Yeah. No sneaky stuff. I don't have to go through with that.
And the organizational meeting.
If you want.
And